Hi, everybody. Welcome to my episode today for reflecting on what kind of role model you really are. So, this is a question that I had to ask myself. What would you be a good role model for? And what would you be a poor role model for? And this question is from our textbook, Coaching and Mentoring by David Clutterbuck. And I guess it kind of stood out to me that when asking yourself this question, it's probably going to be it's the first time people would reflect on how they believe they influence others, not just by what they say, but who they are. So, with that question, I'd have to say I'd be a good role model for staying calm under pressure, for showing empathy, and being reliable. I think I would be a poor role model when it comes to work-life balance, as I tend to overcommit and stretch myself really thin. So this is where Clutterbuck's concept of unconscious competence really hits home for me. Sometimes we're just so used to doing things a certain way that we don't realize others are watching and trying to intimidate us, especially children, definitely coworkers. And they sometimes do this without understanding the context or consequences of us being that role model. So in Clutterbuck's book, he likes to share his story about the mentee who mimicked her assertive mentor. And I found that example really fascinating. As you know, the mentee ended up being overly aggressive in the wrong setting and damaging her reputation. So that's one of the hazards I would say of or the risks of passive role modeling when we don't explain why we behave the way we do or reflect on how it may be received by others. It tends to go just the wrong way. So, in our book, The Stages of Role Modeling, how Clutterbuck outlines the five stages that mentees often go through, the five A's. I think that's a very important um, aspect to really think about and take into consideration as part of our reflection here. And another part of this reflection is just knowing our limits. I know for myself, and many mentors, we tend to burn out because we just overcommit and we take on way too much. And I did find a really good article about that, mentoring and burnout, and it talks about how overextending ourselves in mentorship can lead to fatigue and lower quality guidance. So that's important not to tend to put all that pressure on us because we want to be healthy role models and healthy in our health, but also creating like healthy boundaries and not realistic. We want to create realistic boundaries also for when we're when we're mentoring or being a role model. So I guess the takeaway here is just asking myself, what am I really showing others through my actions? And if I'm honest with myself, I would have to say, um, when I'm mentoring someone, I really would need to talk about everything with them, and let them know, hey, the goal here isn't perfection. It's going to be awareness. This is a learning journey. And, not to overcommit to too many things when we're mentoring. And we just want to make sure that we're leading with intention and honesty. So that's pretty much what I have for our role models discussion here. Thank you for listening and take care.